We zijn er weer, wat heb ik gemist? Niet zo heel veel, toch? Of heel veel. Oh, er is ooit voorbij aan de Ferrari. Is lekker, man. Dat is Ocon. Oh, Ocon is naar binnen geweest, oké. Oké. Zat eraan te komen, ik wist het. Iedereen wist het. Iedereen wist het. De kastelein, de bakker en de slager. Iedereen wist het. Iedereen wist het. Maar wij viel het kwartje pas veel later. Iedereen wist het. Iedereen wist het. Dat jij een vrouw met twee gezichten bent.
You know, you play Mario Kart with me. When I get the mushroom, right, I use it straight away, even if there's a corner coming, which is why I run wide and then lose even more places. The simple analogy there for you. And also I was going to say about the salary.
Het is wel mooi weer. Hey.
Just imagine in a crazy world where we had the same salary.
Zonneke de Bie nou. Mooi Zonneke de Bie.
Before the play cup, mister. You would spend it all, wouldn't you? Yeah, before the month's out.
En engel aan de ene kant. Maar aan de andere kant heb ik mijn vingers verbrand. Je kneep me uit op mijn allerlaatste cent. Waarom zit ik iedereen wist het te zingen? Ik weet het, ja, ik weet het ook niet. Waarom is Lindblad nog steeds niet naar binnen geweest? Hulkenberg ook niet, Calipino ook niet. Of die computer is een beetje in de war. Of ze zijn daadwerkelijk nog steeds niet naar binnen geweest.
But you know what? Last year, look how similar these guys are lap times.
Ik ben heel benieuwd wat ze gaan doen met de Mercedes ook. Gaan ze weer in één stop doen of gaan ze zeggen, nou, baks na baks. Misschien met een beetje geluk komt er weer eens een safety car. Hè? Alonso die hem midden op een baan neerzetten bijvoorbeeld of zo. Ja, wiebelen. Wiebelen.
Fun racing and a chance to actually see some overtaking. So Lewis Hamilton's a bit closer to Charles Leclerc now because of that little lock-up. I think Leclerc's not exactly struggling, but he's not exactly finding it easy, I think. And it might be that they need to pit again. 21 laps. The top 5.
Is er wel een beetje audio? Ja, er is audio, oké. Nee, dat is goed.
We've lost Albon. We've lost Bortoletto, we've lost Norris and Piastri. Before the start of this race, a double did not start for McLaren. For Oscar Piastri, absolutely awful for him. He didn't start, of course, in Australia. The last McLaren driver to record a DNS in consecutive races.
We zijn ook al halverwege trouwens. We zijn er al een beetje overheen. Maar...
Back in USA and Mexico in 1969. So that just shows it doesn't happen very often, and we hope it doesn't happen again to us.
Ah, dat moet ik ook nog doen inderdaad, lol. Kan ik zo meteen nog blijven doen. Ik krijg een melding dat ik mijn antivirus bij dat moet doen. Plan C kon, ja dat. En dat is dubbele stap.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, now is about the time that the medium tyre will do the rest of the race. So it's going to be a stretch for Ocon, who was first in, but now Alonso's in, expecting to see Lindblad, who can't wait to get off.
Dat zou misschien nog wel eens kunnen lukken ook, ja. Medium, hard, medium.
Continuing at the front, George Russell starting to nibble into his lead.
Nibble.
Mr. Patient, Mr. Russell might have to be a bit more patient.
Nibble on your earlobe.
It's got nearly 8 seconds to try and make up. I didn't mention Lance Stroll is also out of this race. Suspected battery issue for him, and that's why he came to a halt at turn 1, and why we had the safety car. Benny Collins, to you.
Yeah, just as Colapinto comes into the pit lane as
Calipino in de pit, stoppie. medium banden eronder, doe maar.
Now done 22 laps on this hard tire, and we have 22, 23 to go. So this would be an optimum point to stop and fit another hard tire for
22,
anyone that
23.
wants to convert to that plan C or 2 stop that we hear Ferrari discuss. They do have a nice big window back to Ollie Bearman.
Hij heeft Alonso ingehaald, lekker man.
They would come in behind him, but to come in and have much fresher tires.
Alonso ligt de ronde achter.
And speaking of Ollie
Lekker
Bearman,
man.
he is running exceptionally well.
Hé, er kwam een gele vlag.
Verstappen,
Geel!
a little bit quicker almost lap on lap with Verstappen.
Oh! Ocon!
Not Ollie Bearman, Esteban Ocon.
En Gasly waarschijnlijk dan.
Coming together, potentially,
Denk het wel.
with
Oh, lekker autoschade.
in the,
Oh,
in the Alpine, but he's got bodywork damage on that barge board.
boos.
He's had one safety car.
Wat gebeurde er dan? Met wie was dat? Ik denk met, of was het met Calipino? Ja, met Calipino. Oh. Ja, maar dat heeft Calipino dan niet gezien. Oh. Oh. Oh, lekker man. Nee. Oh dear.
Ruin his race, going to ruin Ocon's race. And talking of races being ruined, Fernando Alonso's coming in to retire.
Backstory retire dat gaat.
I could see what Ocon was trying to do. No, it was a bit too late. It was a bit too late.
Colapinto's fault?
No,
Yeah.
no,
No, you reckon Ocon's fault?
yeah, it was just, it was, Colapinto's on cold tyres trying to get back to the apex. Ocon sees what's happening and tries to back out of it too late. And it just, the gap was there and it was starting to close, and then just, it's a hard corner to be fair to Esteban, it's a hard corner to try and back out of.
Oh, lekker
So
man.
laterally limited.
Stukken van die vleugel in je intake, lekker man.
For me that's a racing incident, and Colapinto
Kan gebeuren jongens, kan gebeuren.
the racing line, and it's a very, quite often that is the racing line, to be fair to Franco. Is you can have a very wide,
Nou, ik denk dat Kimi hem wel gaat winnen dan.
Yeah, okay, so Ocon said
Yeah, that was my fault.
That's
Zegt
how I
Ocon.
saw it, but I can't. It wasn't a huge miscalculation on his part, but I'm glad that he's
Fernando,
up there.
done,
But I
klaar.
still think it was a racing incident.
Ja, ik ben er wel klaar mee, ik vind het wel best.
From this
Man, fuck this shit, no, I'm joking off.
His second retirement in 2 years. Here, he retired from the race last year, so that's 6 down and 16 still running. Which Esteban Ocon is right at the back, with Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas just ahead of him. Meanwhile at the front, not the fastest lap for George Russell, but in terms of how quickly is he closing the gap on Kimi Antonelli, only by about 0.2 of a second, so 1.5 tenths on lap 34, a little bit more on lap 33 and a few milliseconds on lap 32. Antonelli's got quite a big buffer, but there is still a long way to go in this race.
Yeah, Russell's
Het begint nu wel een beetje in de kakken.
4 tenths over the last
Beetje.
2 laps. So Antonelli.
Maar er hoeft ook niet constant actie te zijn natuurlijk.
Obviously is the best.
Zometeen gaat er iemand weer de muur in of zo. In de muur of...
Zo,
goed joh dat Cadillac. Hey, 14e en 15e. 14e en 16e.
Have no power. Give me something. They'll be usable. I come out of the last corner, I've got no power. Negative, we are looking into that.
Lewis has been saying this constantly through this race, that he's got no power. I need to have more power.
I need more power. I have no power. I need more power.
Behind his teammate, who was at the end of the last lap. That's another lock up there from Charles Leclerc, who's gone even wider this time around. And whilst he might have power issues, Lewis Hamilton, his teammate has just handed third place back to him.
But if he does lack power, Hamilton, on the exit of this corner, this is the one he talked about. Does that give Leclerc the opportunity to have another go around the outside, potentially into turn 1? He's thinking about it. He's going to try
Ja,
it.
buitenkant.
He's going to try it. The crowd roaring, the two Ferraris around here. They're almost side by side. Hamilton
Blijf op de baan.
manages to keep ahead.
Blijft op de
There's
baan.
your battery level. By the graphics, Hamilton's got just a smidge more power at his disposal, and he is using it to very good effect to stay ahead.
Yeah, the two Ferraris, as you'd expect as well, between the two of them, very evenly matched. And Hamilton was just sitting there, lurking in the background with Charles, complaining obviously about his deployment strategy, and the team are working on that.
Netjes hoor.
Things further, but that is
Begin mijn
not
rug een
what
beetje te
Charles
voelen.
Leclerc
Is
or
niet goed.
Ferrari needed to his race performance. So I was just starting to question, what do you do here if you're Ferrari? With their strategy, they've floated the idea of a two-stop strategy. They're read into that, their plan C. Their menu of options of strategy.
Yeah, well, you know, I trot off to have a little chat with a few people in the morning, and I went down to Ferrari, and this was their advice for me today. Crofty, could be a one-stop race. Unknown though, as we haven't had much hard tyre running. Safety car will lead to a two-stop, or if we get grading on the hards. Here comes Charles Leclerc, just a bit too far back and almost going into the back of his teammate, who slowed down to almost a standstill, it looked like, as we were riding on board.
I take it they didn't talk about that in their strategy as well. Two cars almost hitting each other. Okay.
No, they said they might try something different and try and put Mercedes into a territory they don't want to go. But yeah, safety car will lead to a two-stop, or if we get graining on hard. So they very much thought about that two-stop. Esteban Ocon has got a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Franco Colapinto.
Yeah,
such a shame for
10-second time penalty, Ocon.
He has been driving an excellent race today. I thought very mature race, and that wasn't his fault at all. See, he came out to the pits there. Speaking of that tyre, I can just see a very narrow band on the left front of Charles Leclerc's hard tyre, and that's going to be hurting in corners like this one here in turn 8. So yeah, it just causes a bit of extra understeer. You start rolling around on the rubber itself. I think Hamilton's been doing a better job of looking after his tyres, and you can see that actually is a great shot, good comparison as the two cars come towards us. And
as much as we love the wheel-to-wheel racing here at Ferrari, these points are important. Yeah, from Melbourne they had a 3rd and 4th. As it stands at the moment, they're looking pretty good for a 3rd and 4th again. Behrman is a long way behind. At some stage, do you call off the fight just to protect this 3 and 4 and make sure that there's no coming together, or they don't throw away anything unnecessarily?
I mean, I think you got to let them race, but race fairly, and I think you've got to trust both of your drivers. And so far, they've been very close. They were yesterday as well. I think they take things right to the edge. We know what Hamilton is capable of in that regard. He's got a great sense of awareness of cars around him, and I think Leclerc does too. And if I was Fred Vasseur and everyone at Ferrari, I would have to let my two race and put the trust in them.
Just watching the battery graphics there with Charles Leclerc with that overtake, that extra half a megajoule. He's down to about 3% by the time he gets into turn 1. Hamilton about 25%. That's what you're talking about. You've got that at your disposal, but you are going to use so much more of your energy in using that overtake that you might pay for it later in the lap.
It allows you, the main thing with the overtake is the fact that you can have a higher, by regulation you're allowed a higher...
Nou, de Ferraris zijn de enige die met elkaar vechten op de baan, vandaar. Oh wel. Hadja.
That's really where you can make huge gains on the car in front, but it will come because it's not the best way for lap time. You will have a slow...
Antonelli!
Kimi Antonelli just heading down towards the hairpin. We haven't seen much of him because he's been so far out in front. Just under 7 seconds.
Maar wat gaat er gebeuren? Gaat er nog een 2-stop komen of blijft het 1-stop?
Hamilton and Leclerc for 3rd and 4th, and the long gap then back to Ollie Behrman running in 5th. Max Verstappen runs 6th ahead of Pierre Gasly, Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar. But Carlos Sainz currently in the 1 remaining points position for Williams.
Very nice.
Given the start to the season that Williams have had, to come away from China with a point will be cause for a lot of smiles down at Grove on this, of course, the anniversary of Carlos Sainz debut in Formula 1, same race in Australia as Max Verstappen 11 years ago. We have lost Albon and Bortoleto. We didn't see either of those two, nor Norris and Piastri before the start here. We've lost Stroll and we've lost Alonso, who's been talking to the media in the interview area, saying that he was starting to lose feeling in his hands. The vibrations on his car were so severe.
Oh, yay.
He was just starting to lose feeling, hence he came in and retired the car. They go Aston Martin to Japan and Honda's home track next time out, hoping for some upgrades.
Ik denk dat Alonso aan het einde van het seizoen in een rolstoel zit dan.
I think Leclerc is thinking about making a move on Hamilton down into turn 14 this time around, Crofty. He made an adjustment on the steering wheel through turn 7 and turn 8.
Hey, ze gaan even kijken naar een bandje.
Potential new set of tyres to go on to at least one of their cars. Here comes Leclerc. Let's see what he does.
Ze kunnen het proberen. Leclerc zei op plan C. En is plan C dan de tweede stop? Goeie vraag. Oeh, Leclerc. Leclerc. Hamilton.
And is now trying to fight his way back. And is just going to lose out going into the final corner. Charles Leclerc back up into third place.
Yeah, it was a well-planned move by Leclerc. What's Hamilton going to do in towards turn 1? He's naturally going to be...
Ja, komt hij weer, binnenkant. Oeh. Binnenkant.
As the corner then evolves, Hamilton can continue his momentum.
Ja.
And he's got Charles Leclerc back. Leclerc used the battery power at his disposal, but in doing so left himself vulnerable into turn 1, and that's
ja, maar nu komt hij weer terug.
Back ahead. But now Charles Leclerc on the run down to the next heavy braking zone.
Ja, buitenkant.
A crossover here. He'll switcheroo as they sometimes call it, but Hamilton stays ahead.
As they sometimes call it, as you
always call it.
Around turn 7 they go, and this is one thing I like about these new regulations, is that you can follow so much closer through corners like this. And it opens up the opportunity to go somewhere else on the track.
Meanwhile, Isaac Hadjar is right on the tail of Liam Lawson in the Racing Bulls. Hadjar, who's been on his tyres for 29 laps, and Lawson has been on them for 30 laps. And we're going to see some more pit stops in this race, I wonder. What do we got here? Hamilton with the overtake
moet anders, ik wou zeggen, moet anders nog iets van de safety car komen, maar dan is Antonelli misschien ook wel een beetje de lul.
He would have been behind Charles Leclerc, so that overtake remains with him for the whole of the lap.
Routing voor Kimi, hè? Waarom is het gaat nu al 6.3?
Hamilton is round about 10 seconds ahead.
Heb je de kappen maar bijhouden nou?
Charles Leclerc that gets that overtake mode active just now within that second. Meanwhile, Russell has been gradually closing in on Kimi Antonelli. It was, I will look at it at the time. When he got past the last race, Leclerc, it was
George's race nummer is 63, toch? Hij rijdt nu 6.3 seconden achter Antonelli. Dat is wel leuk, dat is wel fun.
Hello, Crofty. You mentioned the Ferrari mechanics looking at some tyres. No sign of any of that. They're just thinking if there is a safety car, you never know what might happen. Everything needs to be.
Zijn nummer is 63, toch? Ik zit nu te twijfelen.
This means to Hamilton, this P3, Crofty. Of course, he had the China Sprint win last year. He had a podium as well, but they were disqualified from that, weren't they? And then
ja, zijn nummer is 63.
Ferrari podium still for Hamilton. So that's what it means for him to hang on to this P3. His tyres are starting to open up with the graining. He is reporting understeer, so we'll see how that one goes. As for Arvid Lindblad,
Leclerc.
Ferrari's actually quite a fun.
Oh, well done, Charles.
I'm glad.
That's actually quite a fun battle. Lekker man.
Last lap Lindblad, because he's still on the same set of hard tyres. They're going for a massive tyre offset to Carlos Sainz ahead of them. A safety car period with a cheaper pit stop would be nice, but I think they're preparing at Racing Bulls to bring Lindblad in, and then it's going to be a big charge to try and nick that final point of Carlos Sainz's Williams.
He's done it, hasn't he? 15 laps to go, and he started talking about can Lewis Hamilton get his.
Ze zitten misschien ook nog wel echt met een big ass smile gewoon met elkaar te rijden, weet je. Zou me ook niks verbazen.
We've been waiting over a year to see if Lewis Hamilton can stand on a Grand Prix podium in a Ferrari red racing overall.
Still quite a long way to go here. And
de Russell die haalt een achterblijver in.
Behrman 18.8 seconds back.
En hij rijdt nu naar nog een achterblijver. Volgens mij zijn dat de Cadillacs.
Were to do another stop, they'll have to work their way past multiple cars on their new tyres if they do go for that two-stop strategy. So Behrman, like Bernie said earlier on, driving a phenomenal race. He's had a great
Lindblad
rise
verliest
to
de
the Alpine.
positie.
Now he's in front of Verstappen, who's 2.7 seconds behind him. So, but there's a long way to go.
Hamilton, keep the gap if you can. You are doing a very good job.
I agree with that. Yeah, Hamilton's really
Yes.
driven a strong race here and cared for his tyres very well.
Ja,
I think
Russell
now
die haalt de Cadillacs in.
There's your race leader, Kimi Antonelli.
Dat is niet waar.
Sorry, your race second, George Russell, who was lapping the two
Look at
Cadillacs.
the marbles on either side of the track.
Look, if they get to the end of this race, doing a one-stopper and 46 laps on the hards once again, and I know the tyre compounds have got a little bit harder this year, that's a phenomenal effort here at Shanghai.
But if that tyre just gets to that cliff of grip, because the compound itself is only, well, around about
Hülkenberg.
half a centimetre thick. So as you wear
Achter
down the gauge of
Ocon.
that compound, you get dangerously close to that thinning out. You can reach the
Antonelli.
cliff of grip.
Wait, this traffic is so bad. Yeah, copy.
So I mentioned that he was lapping the two Cadillacs. George Russell's now had to lap the two Cadillacs, and that advantage.
Ja, en nu rijdt hij achter Hülkenberg.
Now Russell's
Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag.
Antonelli, so it's back up to about 7.5.
Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag.
Russell's had a harder time getting past those Cadillacs than Antonelli did. So, yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. Antonelli, a really solid drive so far today, and he's in a good place right now.
Niet de commentators gooien. Niet doen.
Frustrated by the traffic, but he's not worried by it.
Blue
So he's
flag,
passed
blue
on. I
flag,
think that message
blue
was
flag.
passing on to Bono, saying, "Don't worry about the gap potentially coming down with me and George. I'm only losing this time due to the traffic."
Equalled his career best finish with a second place in Melbourne, Kimi Antonelli, which was his third podium in the last 5 Grand Prix, and he got a second in the Sao Paulo sprint in that time as well. For a man who struggled in the middle part of last year, he started to really show his
Driver of the day.
bounded to pole.
Ja, wie de fuck moet je de driver of the day geven?
And just like Sebastian Vettel, the previous
Antonelli?
record holder, as out comes Arvid Lindblad, just like the previous record holder, looks like he's going to celebrate claiming that record by going on to take the Grand Prix win as well. Hulkenberg, meanwhile,
Hulkenberg voorbij aan Ocon. Lekker man.
Pretty good. Esteban Ocon is now behind him, and Ocon with that 10-second time penalty, don't forget, to serve potentially at the end of this race. Right, Benny Collins, to you.
Dat denk ik wel, ja.
He's going to come in there. He's seen Antonelli trying to make his way past the back markers, and Davison had already mentioned about
Ja,
the
of hij moet naar binnen, maar ja.
It's actually quite dangerous for these leaders. They have to go offline. They run out into the marbles as they're going past these blue flags. It's not
Blue
for the
flag,
car
blue
that's a
flag,
lap
blue
down
flag.
to move on to that dirty stuff. So on these very worn, hard tires, there's
Nou, nu
always
kan
a
Antonelli weer een beetje chillen.
this stage of the race with those lapped cars, and you can see that both Mercedes making their way past those lap cars. That gap is opening and closing ever so slightly. The Ferrari tyre still looks good to me. I think that will make it to the end of the race. They just need to be on top of now what they're doing under safety car, and like I said, I think for the majority of the field out there, apart from those that have just stopped onto the medium tyre,
Antonelli is nog
need to
sneller
take
ook.
that for a fresh set.
Battle in 5 laps. Max Verstappen tegen Pierre Gasly.
4-6 between Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly.
Oh.
Verstappen might still have his sights set on Ollie Behrman, but Behrman's maintaining that advantage at about 2.2 seconds and has done for the last few laps, as Antonelli now bangs in the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, so Antonelli proving what we
Antonelli
thought,
no
he
banks.
still does have
Ew.
plenty of juice left in these tyres, and he's got the speed
No,
to more than match his teammate. I was half expecting, Russell just to steadily chip away and cruise up to the back of him, but it was the traffic that was doing most of the damage. The problem is, like Bernie was saying, when you get onto the marbles and you've got quite old tyres, it seems to pick up the marbles even more as the tyre starts to cool down. When it loses that gauge that I was talking about, the tyre actually starts to cool down, and then it seems to get affected even worse by the marbles, and you run around on someone else's rolled rubber for a stage, a couple of corners, and it takes almost half a lap to shed that off so you can get back to your rubber again. So it's starting to get to that tricky stage with just over 10 laps to go of this race, where the drivers will really have to start working and concentrating on minimising mistakes, which can so easily happen in these cars with a lot less downforce than last year.
So we're watching Kimi Antonelli in the box on the left-hand side of your screen. Jacques Villeneuve as Charles Leclerc is the latest to Laat, Sergio Perez.
Allemaal weer gekke memepjes.
Kimi Antonelli out
Jongen,
of the
jongen,
Grand
jongen.
Prix. We've seen some great performances from him, but he's been making his way through the field. And it'll be interesting to see how he copes. Oh, is Max Verstappen going a lot slower than
Oh
we
jee.
expect?
Max is stuk. Oké, Max lekker. Oh nee.
For Max Verstappen, it's gonna
Max
be
is stuk.
his
Max
first
is stuk.
retirement.
Nee.
Can he though get the car home? He's got power, and these are teething troubles in the early stages for Red Bull powertrains. And they've done an impressive job.
Een Max
to get this
DNF,
engine,
ouwe.
Built from
No
scratch in their
way.
new facility in Milton Keynes, but they had an issue with the power units in Australia that caused Isaac Hadjar to retire, and it could be a power unit issue for Max Verstappen here. Could be a battery issue. It could be hydraulics. We don't know, but it's certainly another mechanical issue for Max Verstappen.
And there'll be many drivers and teams hoping that he can, in fact, make it back down pit road, because
Ja,
if there's a
dat
late
denk ik
safety
wel.
car here, you're going to see frantic
Pick up rubber
drivers.
and bring it home.
Pretty much everyone
Antonelli.
in with,
Ja, maar wie moet er nu eerst door die bocht heen?
Looks like he does have enough momentum and power just about to get back into the pits.
Ja, Antonelli kan er eerst doorheen komen, oké. Gelukkig maar.
Very much out the way and very respectfully out of the way too. Carlos Sainz moves up in the 9th place. Colapinto back up into the points. Let's have a listen on board with the full-time champion.
It just didn't pick back up, did it?
No.
Oh, and then the whole dashboard's turned off.
So is that electrics? Hydraulics?
Electrics, yeah. So it all went blank for a moment.
Then it came back
Ja.
on again, so you saw the red lights flashing.
Gare shit aan.
Back to the pits, lap 46 of the Chinese Grand Prix. He retires while he
Gare
retires.
shit
On
aan.
this, the anniversary of his F1
Into the
debut,
pits.
11 years to the day. Kimi Antonelli puts in the fastest
Into
lap
the pits
of
we
the
must
race.
go.
He is showing
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
can keep very cool and very composed in the lead of the Grand Prix.
Very impressive stuff by the young Italian. Very impressive indeed.
Russell
He's
tweede.
opened that gap up to his teammate. 8.7 seconds now, so over a second ahead he's gained from the moment that Russell took this man on screen, Charles Leclerc.
Let's head down to as Max Verstappen gets out of his Red Bull car. It's a massive disappointment for him. Team apologised to him after a sprint qualifying. They've been at pains to say, look, it will get better.
Een Verstappen DNF, man. Die had ik niet op mijn bingo kaart staan.
Reliability very much a problem too. Let's head down to the interview area. We've lost, I should say, 6 drivers from this race. One of them didn't start. He is Oscar Piastri. He's talking to Rachel Brooks.
Oh, Oscar. I mean, you got further this time than last time. When we were aware of the issue, did it happen on the left of the grid or was it once you were there?
No, it was once I got out of the car. Yeah, not exactly sure what it is.
Je kan verder dan de vorige keer.
The EU side, so disappointing.
And different to the one Lando.
Jongen,
says.
jongen, jongen.
It does give you a chance to see what others are doing right now in the race and where they're deploying. I mean, what
It's
can
been
you
a while
say?
since I've watched 2 F1 races from the sideline, so yeah, the Ferraris look pretty quick at the moment, but we'll see how long that lasts for.
All right, thanks, Oscar. Thanks, Pete.
Oscar Piastri, Esteban Ocon, while we're hearing from Oscar Piastri, has come in to serve his penalty.
What the
He
fuck?
served his penalty.
Ze zitten met zijn hele grote knipschaar bij zijn auto. What the fuck, man?
Front suspension, maybe.
Nee, erop met een nee.
Incident, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it was the barge board that had come loose. There's a bit of metal that was sticking out that holds that barge board in place. So yeah.
Driver of the day.
Had to like a pair of bolt cutters.
Ja, het kan iedereen zijn.
Very un-F1.
All it needed was a big
Ja,
hammer
feit.
in there as well.
F1 fout.
We talk about
Driver of the day.
You can see the state of the marbles from the whites.
Ik geef hem wel aan Kimi. Ja, best. Ik geef hem wel aan Kimi.
Yeah, they're really starting to suffer this late on in the Grand Prix.
Kimi Antonelli.
Impossible. I thought it was overly ambitious to run these tyres for as long as they have, but they're all committed to it, and that's testament to the learning they had yesterday. All the drivers learning how to drive around this punishing racetrack.
Vote driver of the day, 6 laps remaining.
Closes in 6 laps. I am expecting a landslide today, but you never know, Ted Kravitz.
Nou, ze weten het zelf ook niet.
Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Alex Albon, Gabriel Busquets.
Their patience, patience of the day goes to all of those.
It's Kimi Antonelli. Tell us how you vote, and I'll do it. Right, what's going to go on with the last points-paying position? Well, Franco Colapinto is actually catching Carlos Sainz very, very quickly.
De race leader, Kimi Antonelli.
No, I thought Lindblad would actually manage to close up to Sainz.
Ja, als er verder ook niks gebeurt, dan gaat hij hem gewoon winnen.
Because Hulkenberg is also quite quick on the new-ish medium tyre. So Lindblad looks like isn't going to challenge, but it looks like Colapinto is going to catch that Williams very quickly.
Okay, thanks ever so much, Ted. I'll just give you credit for the predictions there. Highest place finish in the Grand Prix, Kimi Antonelli, as I mentioned about 20 laps ago, was second last time out, and he's odds on to go one better. I don't know, Anthony Davidson, you've driven races and you've won them, on your way to becoming a world champion in WEC. Is this the start of the relaxation period? Is this the bit where you start to think about the win, or is this the bit where you hear every single noise on the car and think, no, what's wrong now?
Yeah, he had issues even on his qualifying lap yesterday.
Dat laatste sowieso.
Issues on his during qualifying, and nobody's immune to reliability, especially this early on in the new regulations and cars. So they would have seen and been fully aware.
Dat zou zo lullig zijn, hè?
McLarens didn't even make the race today, and fully aware of their own team's vulnerabilities as well. So yes, you very much are enjoying the moment, because it's a beautiful place to be, leading a Grand Prix with over 9 seconds over your closest competitor, and that gap continues to grow. You're in the flow. It's amazing. Everything just works. You're in the zone. The zone is like being in autopilot. Things just happen, and you're just so at one with the car. It is beautiful, but at the same time, you're ever so worried about the mechanical reliability of all of your equipment.
And there's Bono, his race engineer. He knows what it's like to win a Grand Prix or two. That great relationship with Lewis Hamilton over the years. And this looks like
Je moet Bono niet zo meteen roepen, get in there, Lewis. Sorry, voor zover. My rears are gone, zegt Russell. Mijn banden, nee.
Carlos Sainz, George Russell struggling with his rear tyres. And we're on board with our race leader now. That's Carlos Sainz just ahead. Bernie Collins, to you.
Yeah, I was just going to come in there. That message that George Russell gave the pit wall will not have allowed Bono any rest, because they've obviously put it on the same lap, Crofty, and George Russell is now suddenly 3/10 a lap off the pace. So with still 5 laps to go in this race, are these tyres in this very, very long stint going to be okay? It's a big question mark.
Oh, de stukken rubber vliegen er vanaf.
What do you think? You've had a good look at the front left there, which is normally the limiting factor around here.
Yeah, you could just see on the inside shoulder it having picked up the marbles. They move to the inside shoulder and get flicked away as he goes through that long right-hander. As we see the Alpine working its way past the Cadillac.
The Cadillac as he laps.
That new team on the grid.
Well done.
That I almost forgot, but no, I won't. Oh, is this a slower moving site?
Driver of the day, 22% voor Antonelli.
Vote split, 22% Antonelli, 19% Hamilton, 10% Colapinto.
Yeah, but come on, Behrman's got to be in there as well, no?
Yeah.
What a cracking race he's driven today. Gasly's driven well. Also, so many drivers have really impressed today. But I do think
vandaar dat ik ook zoiets had van op wie moet ik dan stemmen?
The pressure he's had. Such a young driver.
Ocon.
He's had George Russell right there. Look, there he is.
Nee, joh.
He's been hounding him the whole race pretty much, but Antonelli, in a fair fight, has pulled away more than 2.5 seconds now to his more experienced teammate.
George Russell, with his rear tyres going, through the first 2 parts of lap 51 was 4/10 faster than Kimi Antonelli. It stayed 4/10.
Oh, ik tripte hem even. Ik dacht dat schiet ineens iets op een baan.
He has got a big margin to make up, but if the tyres are going off, it will keep Kimi Antonelli and Pete Bonington, on the edge of their seats.
Oh, I see what he did there. He did have the advantage, though, didn't he, Kimi, of seeing the fight happen behind him with the 2 Ferraris and his teammate Russell. And at that point, he could just drive to the tyre. He didn't overstress it, overslide it. And the last time we rode on board with him, at least I could see that he was just driving the car as much on rails.
Des te wakkerder dat ik word, des te luider dat het ding wordt.
Which, to be fair, he is often guilty of. So he's learning, he's adapting the whole time, and this is a very important, it's a valuable day for Kimi Antonelli today. He would have learned more in this race than maybe he did half the season last year in his own ability, and that confidence you get from having put together a race like this today goes such a long way.
Certainly does. Maybe lapping Colapinto and Sainz.
Top speeds.
Slowed him down a bit.
Gasly.
There's no sign of
354 kilometer. Lekker man.
Making
Leclerc. Oh, kleine lock-up.
Another lock-up there from Charles Leclerc. He has put some punishment over the 41 laps through those tyres.
Yeah, I think he has punished him too much. He really enjoyed it. He said.
En weer een fucking éénstop, hè? Weer.
George, but his own teammate as well.
Dat snap ik niet.
3.8 seconds behind Hamilton, and that might be a result of that extra tyre wear that he's got. I picked up the fact he had more. His tyres looked a little bit unhappy earlier on, and there's nothing he can do at this stage.
Zijn er mensen op een 2-stop die er nu goed voor staan? Berman weet ik niet. Gasly heeft ook maar een 1-stop gedaan. Lawson. Wacht, dat staat hier trouwens. Hallo, daar zijn we weer.
How to get the best out of his tyres in that stage. So yeah, Leclerc gave it a good go, and they committed to that one stopper.
6 wins for Lewis Hamilton here in Shanghai. Go back to 2013.
Nee.
He is on course for a 10th
Hadjar,
podium finish here in Shanghai. That's a circuit record. No
soort van.
has done 10.
Hadjar heeft een soort van een 2-stopper gedaan. Heel veel hebben sowieso een 1-stop gedaan, zie ik nu.
203 podium career. The first for Ferrari, signed for Ferrari, wanting to lead the Scuderia to good times and better times in the future. This is going to mean so much to him. That is Kimi Antonelli.
Dat is Russell, joh.
So Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, dat is wel Antonelli.
Seemingly comfortable out in front.
Rustig blijven, jongen. Rustig blijven.
And that gap now will come down even more to about 7.5 seconds. He doesn't want to do that again. 3 laps to go.
See what happened here.
Wat doet hij dan?
No traffic around him. We've already seen a massive lock-up from Leclerc, as we know it's getting tricky. Yeah, and it's as easy as that. The crowd, you can hear in the background, in disbelief as they see the race leader go off the circuit. Leclerc did it the lap before. And
rustig blijven. Calm down.
Very tough.
Calm down. Nothing on the hands.
Together, Kimi Antonelli. That 9-second lead now down to 7.4.
Okay, Kimi, so 3 laps remaining, so let's just get this thing home.
And that's where I love this relationship between the multiple championship and race-winning engineer Peter Bonington and this young protege he has. Such raw talent, but obviously he comes with some excitement at points, and that's Kimi needs someone like Bono right now.
He's as deadpan as they come in this situation as Bono, and that, you're right, that's exactly what you need.
Ja, het zat er even in zijn kopje, denk ik. Kan gebeuren. Maar dan moet hij nu niet de hele tijd elke ronde gaan lokken. Ga dan maar wat eerder remmen. Goed zo.
And this is where a more experienced driver, Crofty, would know just to win, say like Alain Prost style, where you just have to win the race. You don't have to keep pulling away from your rivals the entire time and really prove.
Flagweber, wie de fuck is die Chinees? Die ken ik niet.
Famously crashed before the tunnel, wanting to prove that point.
Ching Chong Pong? Oké, man.
racing drivers are sensitive souls and they want the ego.
Oh, ben jij een vieze racist, Danny? Ja, ik weet het. Wat ga je eraan doen?
Faster than their competition, but that's Bono just saying, you've done a brilliant job. Bring it home, no heroics.
Bring it home.
Meanwhile, there is a battle going on for 9th place out here. Kimi Antonelli's got to bring it home. He's got a lap and a half to go.
No heroics inside the fourth place. Oh nee, dat is in Monaco, hè?
A little bit further behind. Sainz is really starting to struggle. 44 laps on those tyres, 21 laps on the medium for Franco Colapinto. That's going right to the line. Hamilton is a 3.5 second gap back to Charles Leclerc as he hunts down his first podium for Ferrari. Ollie Bearman, who finished 7th in the opening Grand Prix of the season,
is on to finish
5th.
Nee, maar dan moet Antonelli ook rijder van de dag worden. Dat moet wel. Je eerste race ooit winnen? Dat is dan mooi, jongens. Dat is dan mooi.
He's in 7th. Hadjar and the one remaining Red Bull is 8th. Sainz ahead of Colapinto. Hulkenberg a bit too far back to get involved on that. Charles Leclerc is now just put in the fastest first sector. Where does that come from on this latest lap? And Kimi Antonelli is about to start his final lap of this Chinese Grand Prix. A Chinese Grand Prix where he came.
Lekker man.
He's in the dominant
Rustig blijven.
Where if he just keeps his head, there's a chance at least to a front row. But he's got one better than that, and he's got that pole position, and he has survived some skirmishes in the opening stages of this race to go and stretch his advantage out in front and to lead this race. The safety car offered them an option to come and pit.
Marco Antonelli, zijn papa is erbij.
The screens, he is pacing around. He is as nervous can be, and he has been with Kimi Antonelli all the way through his career.
And a racer himself as well, so he knows full well what it's like to lead a race, to win a race.
Ontzettend zenuwachtig die man.
This is the big one.
Handen zo op de rug. Zo.
I expected Antonelli to win races this season. I really thought he would. I thought he'd get pole positions. Did I expect it in round 2?
Dan kun je ook geen houding houden.
He surprised me.
Snap ik wel.
Going through turn 10 is right on the tail of Carlos Sainz coming out of turn 13. Up ahead. Antonelli has one straight corner checkered flag to go. Last time an Italian driver started on pole position.
Oh, dan gaan we het Italiaanse volkslied ook wel horen natuurlijk. Oh.
He didn't win that day, but a driver called Kimi did. We've had an Italian
Oh, even wheelspinnen door de allerlaatste bocht. Lekker man.
We're going to get an Italian driver winning here. Forza Italia, Kimi Antonelli.
Kimi! Let's go!
It is victory in Shanghai.
Burnouts, alles man. Lekker man.
19 and 202 days is
Even knuffelen met Toto. Ja, lekker man.
And Toto Wolff celebrating with his dad in the garage. George Russell comes home. It's a Mercedes 1-2 and stands for Lewis Hamilton, who will stand on the podium as a
Hamilton op het podium. Ja, lekker man.
Third place here in Shanghai. 10th podium at this circuit on Mother's Day. His mom is here.
Is het moederdag?
On the podium for the first time with the scooter rear. Charles Leclerc comes home in fourth.
Kut!
It is a long way behind, but ahead of Pierre Gasly, and will very much take that 5th place, and a brilliant job by him today as well.
Hij is keihard aan het huilen op de radio, denk ik.
Yes, Kimmy. Come on, my son. Yes! Yes, man! we did it, man! Well done there, mate. First race win. It is one you're going to remember forever, though.
Nice words from Bono there, and what a drive it has been from Kimi Antonelli. Not easy, you know, he's had to fend off a 7-time world champion.
Driver of the day, tuurlijk. Tuurlijk is hij de rijder van de dag.
The threat from Ferrari at the start, he got that race start that he wanted. A brilliant day.
So behind Bearman, Gasly 6th, Lawson 7th, Hadjar 8th, and that battle for 9th
Lekker,
is
jongen.
still going on. Colapinto's going wheel to wheel.
Niet te gek doen. Geen donuts gaan doen op rechte stuk.
Is Kimi Antonelli. Franco Colapinto hasn't been in
Lekker
the point
man.
since back Baku in 2024. He's not scored points for Alpine.
Nice
He's
job,
gonna get
George.
a point today, or will it be 2? Because that is still carrying on. No, he's...
Good racing out there today.
They were both laps, and the graphic didn't say the checkered flag, so I thought they were still racing.
Well done, Lewis. Started the race clear and smart as we wanted. Thank you.
Fantastic job. Fantastic job, guys. Really well done. Really cool for the hard work. We're gonna keep up. Keep pushing. Back in Maranello, we've got work to do, but I believe in you. Let's keep pushing. Forza Ferrari.
Thank you.
Forza Ferrari.
Smart indeed.
Vamos.
It was one of his finer races, I think. And you know what's on Lewis Hamilton's side this year, Crofty? He's got his qualifying
Kimi.
performance back.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. You made me achieve one of my dreams. Thank you.
And he's allowed to come and park his Mercedes on the grid here. Sainz holds off.
Berman vijfde. Ja, lekker man.
When Kimi crossed the line, Hulkenberg just missing out on the points ahead of Lindblad, Bottas, Ocon, Perez, and we lost Verstappen, Alonso, Stroll, Piastri, Norris, Bortoletto and Albon from this race. That Kimi Antonelli is shaking his head, maybe in stunned disbelief, trying to take it all in.
I love the fact he's got Lewis Hamilton just off to his left-hand side as well. The man that's been there, seen it and done it all in the world of Formula One. And I think...
Staan op die auto, jongen. Staan op die auto, juist hem.
There it is. That's the moment. We wondered, was he going to get a good start? He got a decent start today. The Ferraris came at him, and he had to bide his time a little bit. And now he can celebrate with his crew.
He's such a likeable character as well. And it's just a little glimpse into that character on the exit of turn 14, Crofty, where
Springen, jongen, hoppa! Mooi, man.
He's loved by the team, and you can see why. Full of energy. He's brought this huge amount of energy to the team.
Knuffelen met papa. Tuurlijk.
There's a racing team. The racer himself has his own racing team. Kimi famously memorises lap times, doesn't he? And his lap times, I dare say he's got another 56 to try and remember for today. But this is superb, and Toto Wolff could have brought in, when Lewis Hamilton left, could have brought in to the Mercedes stable a more experienced driver that could have got wins straight away. But no, he said, I've got faith in this man, I've got faith in Antonelli. He is a superstar of the future.
Spotted in go-karts, could see the talent there, and many people would testify to that, and that's a good embrace between the teammates. And they've got a long championship fight probably ahead of them this year, but the competition, Ferrari, then they're the closest at the moment, and they're not that far away. As George was saying earlier on the Reddit, they're fast in all the wrong places. Well, if they can be
for
fast,
Mercedes,
for Mercedes, if they can be fast in the right places too, for their sake, they're right there.
Yeah, McLaren have got work to do. Electrical issues today, and different electrical issues meant that Norris and Piastri couldn't start this race.
Een grote knuffel van Lewis. Lekker, man.
Not just to Kimi Antonelli, but his old mate Bono as well. And I think he'll enjoy even more the fact that he can share a podium with Kimi and with Bono, and his first time there, and Lewis's first time for Ferrari.
I wonder who will spray him the hardest with the champagne, Crofty.
Lewis gets a well done from Toto Wolff there as well. It's 26th Grand Prix for the team, and Lewis gets that third place. Charles Leclerc still hasn't finished on the podium at a Chinese Grand Prix, by the way. This today, he went past Kimi Raikkonen for the second most starts in Ferrari history.
And look at this man, Ollie Behrman.
Well, that's a man that I think will get a few starts for Ferrari in the future as well. That's another really mature drive from Ollie Behrman today.
It really was. I loved watching him race. He's been fast all weekend. He was in Melbourne as well. And I think the future is very bright for that young lad.
Certainly is.
Brr. Begint een beetje koud te
Sold
worden.
out capacity crowds here
Vet een beetje
in
koud.
Shanghai, 10,000 more than we had here last year.
Top speed of the race.
154 kilometers an hour.
Lekker man.
219 of your miles an hour, and that sounds enough to me.
That was that overtake mode in full effect that we were talking about before.
David Coulthard.
David
Has
Coulthard.
the mic in his hand.
Kimi Antonelli.
Drivers with him.
Kimi Antonelli, congratulations on your first Grand Prix victory.
Thank you so much.